Hi there, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be looking at some of the latest news in the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case as of recently regarding one of Kohberger's witnesses for his defense. There's been some kind of interference going on in the background, supposedly by the FBI. It doesn't sound too good, that, but let's take a look at the article, read about it, maybe compare, contrast to a similar article and see what conclusion we can come down to. You can share your own thoughts, your own comments down below in the comments section. And of course, once again, if you need to catch up on my previous videos, just feel free to go onto the channel and they'll be all there visible. Okay, without further ado, let's head on to this latest article within the case. So the title of this article reads, FBI investigates key witness for Bryan Kohberger's defense. Subtitle below, prosecutors noticed an alleged irregularity with some testimony from DNA expert Gabriela Vargas. Now, we'll compare and contrast, of course, the titles too with the next article we'll look at after this and see which one's more true in nature, okay? It was posted September the 5th, 2023 at 12:13 p.m. EDT, and it reads, rather than cross-examine an expert witness for the defense of Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger, Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson flagged the FBI to investigate her following some contradictory testimony. Right, so one action, one form of behaviour led to the other. Okay. Because I do remember about the whole cross-examination of potential witnesses that could appear as, you know, in defense of Kohberger's innocence, if you remember the last article we read, which was maybe a couple of months ago now, speaking of which. Anyway, it says here, Kohberger's defense has alleged grand jury irregularities, prosecutorial misconduct, and has attempted to discredit DNA methods used in the case. Yeah, was it that genealogy stuff used back then? It wasn't the best of things, how it targeted and picked out Kohberger and his family or something. Yeah. Gabriela Vargas, an expert on genetic genealogy, testified on the DNA issue during a hearing on August 18th. August 18 days later. Or does it mean, I know, there's a full stop. That's stupid that the way they've punctuated it. August 18th. And then it says days later, the feds knocked on her door, according to Kohberger's attorneys. There's a photo there of Gabriela Vargas speaking during a hearing Friday, August 18th, 2023, at Latah County Courthouse in Moscow, Idaho. Okay, got some dyed hair too. Says in quotes, last night she was visited by 2 FBI agents and interrogated about her testimony and the findings of her declaration. Annie Taylor, Kohberger's lead defense attorney, said during an August hearing that, in our view, impacts Mr. Kohberger's due to process rights. Right, so being visited by 2 FBI agents and the form of interrogation, you know, is that going to do much good? You know, there'll be a reason for it in the first place to follow through with that method because of the contradictions made earlier. But yeah, I think the problem is the way it was worded on a different article. They were making it seem like it was more one-sided. It was a bit corrupt. But I guess it just depends how it's worded. End of the day. Thompson filed an explanation for the FBI interaction under seal last week, but more details have emerged in court proceedings. Okay. Thompson said that through some of her colleagues, investigators heard that she was I've never heard that word before, on some of the things she was testifying to in court. Annie Taylor talks to Judge John Judge during Kohberger's hearing. Gabriela Vargas. Mobile users go here. Okay. In quotes, when we heard of that, I reached out to investigators and asked, can you find out what is going on? Thompson said the FBI indeed undertook an investigation, and the other reports are that Miss Vargas claimed that some of what was in her declaration she had inadvertently agreed or signed without fully reading it. Right, okay. The expert testimony had other controversy, with prosecutors asking the court for permission to delay cross-examination to a later date over a snafu with PowerPoint slides. PowerPoint slides. Wow. All this delaying, right? Bit of a pattern. The exchange happened during an August 23rd hearing, but resurfaced last week after Thompson declined to cross-examine Vargas and another DNA expert, and former FBI agent Tracy Walder told Law and Crime that such an interview is atypical. The FBI declined to comment, but legal experts tell Fox News Digital that circling back for an interview with a witness who may have signed something she didn't read is a permissible move. In quotes, "I don't think it's entirely unusual for prosecutors to direct their investigators, agents of law enforcement, to follow up with a witness," said Edwina L. Cox, a Boise-based defense attorney who is not connected to the case unless something untoward happened. Mere contact and follow-up is certainly not out of bounds. And then, what's this? Yeah, we've heard this all before, right? Same old story. Explanation. Yeah, so they always link back to previous events and timelines. So with that in mind, let's just briefly move on to the second article and see if there's a consistency there. So here's the title of the other article. It reads, "Quadruple Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger's lawyers accuse the FBI of interfering with genetic expert witness in his trial, claiming they interrogated her at her home." So the title of this one does appear more drastic than the previous one we read out. You know, is there a certain agenda being followed here? I mean, you read this one out, it could imply that maybe Kohberger's defense could be negatively impacted because of all this that's gone on, that it seems a bit corrupt in some way. It just depends which article you read first and, you know, first-time impressions. The reason why I can't have this on reader mode where it goes dark, the screen, is just because it seems to exclude certain information. So we just stick with what we've got here. Got some photos there on the left, Kohberger on the right, the victims. His lawyers claim 2 FBI agents harassed Gabriela Vargas. That's correct. Links on there. Kohberger was set to face trial on October 2nd, but this has been delayed indefinitely after he waived his right to a speedy trial. So yeah, it just mentions same old what we've heard before. Charged, yeah. Apologies about the adverts. Can't do much about that. His main lawyer, Annie Taylor, said genetic genealogy expert Gabriela Vargas, who recently spoke in court about DNA matching, had been harassed by the FBI shortly after she took the stand on that due to contradictions. She was visited by agents, interrogated about her testimony and the findings of her declaration. Kohberger, charged, yeah. Victims, yeah. Yeah, we've seen these photos before. Is that really it? God. All right, here we go. That, in our view, imposes on Kohberger's due process rights and his rights to a federal assistance counsel. Taylor also expressed the intention to file a motion in regards to what happens to witnesses after they testify in court. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson responded in court that he contacted the FBI to investigate after Vargas questioned parts of her own testimony. He added that the FBI agreed, and Ms. Vargas claimed that some of what was in her declaration she had inadvertently agreed to or signed without fully reading it. Yeah, that's what we said earlier. We're documenting that so we can share it with Ms. Taylor. Former FBI agent Tracy Walder told Law and Crime. It's not something, yeah, we've seen it before. Yeah, some photos there. We're just scanning for it just to make sure there's levels of consistency, and there is at the moment. It says that, however, I think a lot of that lies with perception of how Miss Vargas felt during that discussion. I would hope that copious amounts of notes were being taken, and I would hope that the FBI has a very good reason. Whilst Kohberger was, yeah, it's been pushed forwards, delayed. No date was set for the future trial, which could be in months or even years, which does sound pretty rough, that. Judge confirmed with Kohberger he would like to waive his right, speed trial, yeah. Despite wanting to come to a resolution as soon as possible, prosecution did not object. Greenback, that was the best time. Okay. How the Idaho murder case that shocked the world unfolded. Right, so that just gives like an explanation of it, how it all played out. We don't really need to look at that, to be honest, just because people will know the story by now. And that appears to be it. Okay. So I just wanted to share that news with you, considering I've not really covered the case in recent time, just a little bit of awareness there, just so you learn about something new if you haven't been following the case. But as for those people that have continuously followed the case, let me know your thoughts down below of this recent news. Is it normal? You think it was the right thing to do? The FBI agents going round and interrogating her? Or could it be used against them or used in Kohberger's favour in some way or another? Or could it negatively harm Kohberger in a different way because of the whole defence witness scenario? Be sure to let me know down below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. For now, goodbye.